Hello everyone, welcome back to the series which I have not named yet, but we were using AI to build a product end to end while making sure that it's as per industry standards. We're not giving into the fluff which AI gives, and we're ensuring that we are following proper processes which enable you to create production level software. So last time we decided on a product idea first, and then we arrived at meal shuffle, where then we grouped everything, we grouped all the features as per feature tags, as you can see here. Why has it named it as V is beyond me, and I'm going to change this right now. It is very important to just have things in a very specific format. That way you will not be confused when you are making things, and moreover your AI agent will also not get confused. So let's change this to F. Got it. Alright, and the first and foremost thing is that we have created an MD file, and I have imported that into VS Code. Let's initialize the repository here and make some commits just to make sure that we don't lose anything. These are empty directories, so they will not be committed. So let me create some random file here. I will just name it log.md and plan.md for now, so that we have the entire structure here. Let's just call it initial feature breakdown and document directory setup. Perfect. I'm not gonna publish this right now, I'll do it later on. Okay, now the next thing we have to do is something which we at Hyperler call feature analysis, and that is going through everything and figuring out if we are missing something, if something is extra. The goal of this is to make sure the feature is complete end to end, and we are accounting for all possible edge cases and side effects, and we are going to use AI to do that. So starting with F1, it seems pretty straightforward. Ingredient, catalog, and pantry. We have catalog, browse, and search. Adding an item to pantry, edit and consume, units and conversions, nutrition basis, blah blah blah. Now, if I had to do this manually, I would be using my experience in software architecture to kind of dive deep, figure things out. But I'm going to utilize Copilot for this now. Let's just go with GPT-5 for now. Okay, first we have to figure out a prompt for it. How do you define feature analysis? What I usually do is I write my prompts separately, say in a notepad. That way it's very easy to copy and paste it without losing it. Let's begin. So now that we have our prompt ready, let's give it a test drive with one of the features. I'm going to tag this, add it as context, paste it, and actually let's start with F1 first. I want to see how it does it. I'm using the Cloth Sonnet 4 model. I have found it to be, uh, although I know we use ChatGPT for the initial feature breakdown, but I found that when dealing with stuff in VS Code and using Copilot, Sonnet 4 usually performs very well. While it's doing this, let's finalize the tech stack. Okay, so I'm going to again go to ChatGPT and I'm going to tell him suggest a technology stack for this, starting with a monolith stack. This is, we are not going to be deploying it in the cloud just yet. I'm going to start with something local, preferably using Docker. Um, Actually, yeah, let's go ahead with this. The perks of AI agents: you can have multiple stuff going on with you. I could open another VS Code here right now and work on something else entirely. That's a lot of content for one feature. What exactly are you doing here, buddy? Actually, this is good. It has created a detailed breakdown of F1. I'm going to just name this file F1 and create F2 in another file. You don't really want your files to be too long, as you run the risk of running into context limitations. It's best to keep your things divided. Let's wait. In the meantime, let's check out what's going on over here. So, this is very similar to the tech stack we use in our own firm. I am a bit suspicious it might be biased because this is my personal account. And let's see. We have Django 5, makes sense. DRF, alright. Front end in React. Django gives you an inbuilt admin panel that makes the work easier. And I'm not sure we need caching and job scheduling just yet, but let's see how it goes. Same goes for search, but Postgres has inbuilt search, so it doesn't matter. LLM client would ideally be OpenAI in this scenario. Alright, makes sense. Okay, this has a lot to unpack. We will do this next time. But for now, let's focus here. Okay, so it has created this file. As you can see, let's open it side by side. I need to open this completely. Here we go. And Just as good practices, I will immediately rename this to f1.md, and let's create a subfolder here called feature analysis, right? Drag and drop this there, move, and okay, now let me open this here just so we can compare. So this is what we had. We had a brief overview of the features, to be honest, nothing concrete. Now we have a step-by-step flows for each and every action over here. For example, search by text says user input, search processing, system checks synonyms table for alternate matches. Good, but a bit too much. We can probably use a service for this. Let's keep going. We have edge cases, empty query, no results makes sense. So it did this for each and every sub feature as well. Now what's important to consider here is if we did not have a proper categorization and tagging of the features, you would not get this kind of organized output for yourself. You would since we have this, think of it in this manner. You will notice that even the agent itself is using to-dos and then working on them. So this gives it a structure to work on. Having proper documentation and structure of context is very important for working with AI agents. Okay, let's go back. So we have edit and consume action flows, unit conversion. All right, makes sense. Nutrition basis is 1.0.5. Data integrity features action flows f1.5 to 7. Okay. I think we will also need to cut this down. But before we do, I'm gonna leverage the multitasking ability of this and tell it I have moved. Let's give it context first. Since the output was detailed, which is good, I renamed the file to f1 and moved it to feature analysis folder. Let's continue ahead for f2. Your output should be in as f2.md in the same, let me just name the folder as f2.md in feature analysis folder. Perfect. Well, it does that. Let's see, what do we need and what do we most importantly not need. Use enter search term in search field. Okay, system trigger search. Alright. Synonyms table applies inactive filters. Now, okay, there's one thing. If I was making this for myself, I would be tempted to postpone this for other time. But today we are here to leverage AI end to end. So I'm going to keep this stuff as is and see how it goes. We will be using checkpoints, logs, and plans to keep track of everything, and we will roll back if needed. This is kind of like CI/CD, but for Um, Vibe coding? It's no longer vibe coding if you're doing everything in this way. But whatever. Filters. Now here's the things. It has mentioned filters, but have you actually added filter as a feature? Barcode scan. Interesting. Makes sense. Edge cases. hmm Date pantry items. Pretty straightforward. We can yeah. So now that we have the actual fields here, you might notice, for example, quantity, expiration date, notes location, we can use this to create data models, which can then be used to create the database tables. And since we're going to be using Django for this, it sums up very easily as Django models are in Python, and then we can simply use DRF to expose them as APIs. If we are getting a bit ahead of ourselves here, don't worry, we will be going through all of this. Then we have units and conversions. So what it is doing is it is putting a lot of the effort, I think. It doesn't on the user side. Okay, so the unit map, I don't think it's manual. It's only one reference unit map. It has not defined how the unit map would be populated. But it might be part of another feature. Let me just first keep this open. Unit map. Yeah, the population is not listed. It should be here, right? Should be in the admin. But it's not. This is why reading it is important. It mentions original. Wait a second. Unit map is mentioned in tech. So is it? I'm assuming it's a data structure. Let me check this real quick. Let's go. Let's just Google it. By the way, good thing this popped up. After this, when we were actually making the data models and everything, I would wanted to explain to you about how you can use standard principles such as solid for establishing how good our design is, and decide on what specific architecture we're going to make using AI, of course. And then we're going to use TDD, which is test driven development, to actually then implement the entire application using AI. The way that works is we don't directly code up the feature first. This is more relevant to backend actually rather than front end. You use AI to create a test suite of the features you want to implement. You get that done first, and then you integrate that into your backend step, so it can use the test as a reference point for logic. Again, we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. This is something else. Let's just check out what is unit map here. And yeah, it is a data structure, I think. Anyway, we'll do this later. So it has done F2. I am going to do, wait a minute, library and filters, search by title tags, filter by date. So it is again the same thing as F1. search, right? Search. This was, where did we see search? There we go. Ah, okay. That was for the library, that was for the pantry. Okay, now I'm going to do the same command for F3 and so on. Or should we just ask it to do it all of them at once? The only problem, and I'm suspecting here, might be to do with context limitations, but let's just check it out because this is a lot of content. Anyway, let's continue ahead for all the features in, let's say, yeah, the user app. Yeah, let me just highlight this, add this. Actually, yeah, let me just select this line. There we go. Cross all the features under M1 user app. Ideally, if so, for example, we only have like what, 5 features there, so I'm telling you to do it at the same time one by one. But if you have a lot, say 20, 25, it would be better to batch them up and then do it. Maybe even start a new chat to do the other 5 and so on. That way you won't run into context limitations. Let's go. Let's continue ahead. Similarly, let's see. It created 3 to-dos, which makes sense. We have already done 2 features and 3 are left. I think we should wrap this up for this session. And once all the features are completed, we will go through them together and move on to the next step, which is cutting this down and seeing if something is missing. Which actually, no, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's focus on leveraging AI here. Next step, we will move on to data models and action plans. Feature analysis is something which we will be doing with AI itself, and we will do a brief check and see if there are any discrepancies, any issues, and we will ask AI to sort them out. I think that's it then. See you again next time.